the Times, which is in South Lake Union, which has probably changed more than any neighborhood, for sure, in the city, if not the country. I mean, it's incredible. When I got to Seattle, the Times and REI were pretty much the only things in that entire neighborhood. The streets were dead. There was nowhere to go for coffee or lunch. I mean, it's amazing now. The amount of traffic, the amount of foot traffic, all the development, it's pretty incredible. But yeah, change is happening throughout the city, certainly. And it's very fast-paced change, too.
Just a pass-through. Nothing was here, it was warehouses. We had a school dance in the old Mohawk High building, which used to be basically an abandoned old Navy building. And it was kind of a depressed area. And now obviously it's been completely revitalized with Amazon and other interesting public space. So it has been quite a transformation.
What was South Lake Union like before Amazon? And I can speak to that very easily since I've been working in South Lake Union since 2002. And you can look at the data, or anyone who's been here that long can tell you that it was almost not a neighborhood. I mean, it was. There were little homes, there were some apartment buildings, but it was very, very sparsely populated. There was some light industry and a few little businesses, a couple that are still there, like the trophy shop. There's some kind of funky old, the guitar center. But I mean, it was almost nothing. You could walk in the middle of the day down Westlake and there was nobody.
You can't stop business and commerce, right? You can't stop the fact that Microsoft is here and all of these companies are here that are going to draw more people here.
I guess some companies have been moving here from other areas. Compared to, say, Silicon Valley or San Francisco, there seems to be a trend of people who, even though they're very well paid, they still can't afford to live in Silicon Valley or San Francisco. And so they're looking at Seattle as a place to move where you can get a good job and your money goes so much farther.
It's not so much if, to me, it's how, right? Everything is a matter of gentrification or people being transitioned out of communities or coming into communities. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is, how does it happen? What commitment is a city willing to make to the residents of a community?
I don't think a lot of people were displaced from South Lake Union because it was just so empty. So I don't think that is the same issue that you have in some other neighborhoods that were already pretty dense in Seattle. For the economy of the city, it's had an unbelievable impact. It's had great things and bad too. The infrastructure hasn't kept up with the pace of change, particularly in South Lake Union. It's traffic-wise, it's just kind of a mess. And we had no strategy for affordable housing, really. We're working on it, but Amazon brought all these high-paid workers right into the middle of Seattle who wanted to live nearby. And so it created an awful lot of tension between the people who were already here and were not used to Seattle being an expensive San Francisco-like city. And there just isn't enough affordable housing for the people who need it.
You leave your home.
You're asking why is it hard to have conversations about gentrification? And yeah, I agree with you. It is hard to have that conversation. Part of the reason is because it tends to be accusatory and kind of judgmental. You know, when someone on Capitol Hill is complaining about gentrification, they're talking about, you know, the people that moved into that brand new building next door to them. And then naturally, those people who just moved into the neighborhood, when they hear that, they don't feel welcome.